Guys, we're going to do a bush install today. We've got a fire extinguisher bracket going in my Next Gen Ranger. So when it comes to a fire extinguisher, it's one of those things you're never going to know when you need it. Hopefully you never do. There's a few reasons you might need a fire extinguisher in your four-wheel drive, but it could be something like, you know, a campfire that gets out of control, or some wiring in your vehicle, in your 12-volt system, and you have to attend to that straight away. For me, one of the biggest reasons is with modern turbo diesels like this Ranger I've got here, they run what's called a DPF. That's a diesel particulate filter, and that is an emissions system in your vehicle. What a DPF does is it does a burn. So at certain intervals, it'll do a burn when you're driving, and it gets super hot. You know, that can be a fire hazard when you're out bush, because you know, you could get bits of long grass that collects and gets stuck under your vehicle, or even more, if you're running bash plates on your vehicle, you could have some grass that sort of sits in there and catches a light when it's doing a burn. I mean, obviously, as best practice, you want to check under your vehicle when you're on a trip like that and make sure everything is good. But you know, sometimes it could be too late. That's why having a fire extinguisher is really important in your four-wheel drive. You know, when it comes to having a fire extinguisher, there's no point having one if you can't access it fast in an emergency, which is where Russ from Cap Industries comes in. He saw the need in the market several years ago and developed his own custom brackets. It's a great success story. He produces the brackets himself, and he actually set up the business in his garage. So, I mean, how more Aussie than that? So yeah, pretty cool. He's a really nice guy as well. So we've been chatting, obviously ran one before, so it was always on the list to have one in my Next Gen. So I'm gonna go through how to install one of these brackets today. Okay, so to get the job done today, we're gonna need a few tools. We'll start with a T50 Torx bit, which is that one here. You'll need two 8mm spanners, or as I'll be doing today, I'm going to use one of those spanners, and I'm also going to use an 8mm socket. You'll need your ratchet, and you may need a flathead screwdriver. Okay, let's get into the install. So the first thing we want to do is remove the two plastic covers here. Underneath there is the Torx bit bolt, so we're going to remove one on either side. Now these should just pop off with your hand. If they don't, you can use your flathead screwdriver here. Okay, so that one's off, and the other one's just popped off as well. Just pop them to one side, you'll need them later. So underneath we've got a Torx bit bolt there, and we've got a Torx bit bolt there. We're going to unscrew those with our ratchet and our T50 end here. Yeah, so it might help to have you know, something under the knees if you're doing in the bush like I am. Okay, pop those Torx bit screws to one side because you're going to need that to reinstall the bracket. The next step, we're going to install the fire extinguisher cage to the Cap Industries bracket. There's bolts supplied to do that, so it's super easy. Remove the fire extinguisher from the bracket. Okay, you can put that to one side. So this is our bracket, and you'll see here, these are our bolts in the middle. So we're going to unscrew those, and we're going to connect that to the fire extinguisher bracket. We're going to connect just like this. So we're going to have the flat side facing the bottom, and we're just going to line it like so. We want the fire extinguisher facing this way on the passenger side, so we've got the dial facing the sort of center console area. You can just tighten them by hand, and once you've got them in position, we can give them a nip with our spanner. Okay, to install mine, I'm going to go with a little spanner that I've got 8mm spanner here connected to the back, to the black side, and I'm going to use my ratchet spanner with a 8mm bit on the end to tighten that up. Our bracket's now connected, and all we need to do is simply lift up the seat ever so slightly, and we're going to be able to slide these two ends of the cap bracket underneath the seat. Now we have it aligned under the seat, we can put our Torx bit screws back in. Just be a little bit careful putting those Torx bit screws in. Just do them by hand first, because you don't want to thread them by mistake. Our bracket's now in position, super easy. Now we can pop the extinguisher in and we're done. And it's best to have it facing this way so you can see the status of your fire extinguisher at the top. And finally, we want to connect up the brackets here. Okay, next just pop back the little plastic covers. And we're done. It's as simple as that. Just slid my mat back in there and check this out. So good. Now, because two is better than one, I've actually installed one in the driver's area as well. So I've got one on either side, passenger and driver. Great to get these installed, and now if anything unfortunate was to happen when I'm on a trip, I know I can grab a fire extinguisher quickly. Thanks Russ for the opportunity to showcase your product. And guys, if you're interested in buying one of these, you can check out cap.industries. Alternatively, there's a link in the description below. See you guys in the next one. Bye.